Bizemag podcast launched by Business Strategy e-magazine and L'strategyq Advisors. Myself, Dr. Vaneeta Aggarwal, hosting this show today. I would request all my audience to please subscribe this channel with the link is given below this video. Our today's podcast guests are Alexis and Justin Black. Welcome, Alexis and Justin, to our show. We are pleased and honored to have you both, youngsters yet revolutionary leaders in your own sense, on this podcast. So, I will introduce both of these young leaders to my audience.
Thank you so much for having us today. Sorry, we were on mute.
Thank you so much. I'm now introducing Justin Black. He created the Rising Over Societal Expectations Empowerment Group. In short, it is known as ROSE Group, with a close vision to close the information gap for today's generation of Black and Brown young adults after his experiences as a Black male in the foster care system. He has also developed policy recommendations while working with the National Black Child Development Institute, resulting in a publication titled The State of the Black Child Report Card, Washington State. Black studied urban and community development as well as a political and economic philosophy in the countries such as Rwanda, Uganda, Senegal, and South Korea. In his spare time, Justin loves watching sports and enjoys hot wings, and we have along with him his partner Alexis Black, who is a proud foster care alumni. She founded the Scholarship Be Expert, where she authored the scholarship blueprint book and workbook along with an online course to assist students in graduating from college debt free. She is also a foster care advocate working for the National Youth and Transition Database Reviewer. Alexis helps fundraise for programs supporting foster youth such as Hope PK packages, the Setia Scholars Program, the Soro Foundation. She studied abroad 8 times during her undergraduate career in countries such as Hong Kong, South Korea, and South Africa. She also co developed two study abroad programs, and she aspires to be a positive example for foster youth. Both of them have co authored a book called Redefining Normal. So, welcome Alexis and Justin once
Thank you
more.
all for having us.
Yeah, thank you for the introduction and thank you for having us on the podcast.
So, I would ask you first question. I have definitely narrated your biography, but I would like each of you to please tell something more about your work and about the book to our audience.
Yeah, of course. So much of what we do is grounded and based upon shaping people's identity, helping them shape the narrative for themselves in their life as they go on and become young adults, mature adults, and the characteristics and culture they pass down to the next generation. We grew up in unique circumstances as foster care alumni, and going through that process, we had to kind of figure things out on our own and go through the process of unlearning and relearning. And though we came in contact with people who were there to love us and support us and help us get to the next stage. It was kind of on us to kind of build that culture and dynamic that we wanted, that something that would be conducive for ourselves and for the next generation of our children and those around us. And as we came together, we had to kind of figure it out as a couple. How does this look as far as what we'll build and trauma and everything, and even now business partners. How do we figure out marriage and business together? How do we go forward in both of those areas and not go forward in one and backward in the other? So figuring that out, but that really brought us to the idea of redefining normal. And so much of that has to do with our personal experiences in our lives that we want to share with other people, but give a challenge to other people to redefine their normal as well. So the idea of that is everybody's normal is made up of their family influence, their culture, their community, and societal expectations. So we want to challenge people to create a environment that's conducive for themselves and their children's children and the next generation, and do something that is beyond just the simple expectations that was placed upon them. Because for us, those expectations and culture wasn't always positive and healthy. So there's always tweaking that needs to be done, and always redefining in one area or another that needs to be done.
Mhm.
Yeah, so Alexis, would you like to add something to that?
Yeah, I think Justin did a great job on capturing most of the work that we do, but largely we try to be examples to especially other foster youth, other individuals who've gone through trauma and are constantly working to redefine their future and building a future that they may not have an example of what that looks like around them. And that could be, you don't necessarily have to experience trauma or other things like that, but a lot of times individuals are trying to set themselves on a pathway that's different than their family culture and what they're seeing in their society. So just trying to encourage and motivate as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very noble cause you are, pursuing. And being foster kids yourself, you understand those kind of situations which foster kids go through, and to to help them is one of the most noble cause you are doing. All the best wishes to both of you, and personally, I feel that may God bless you to continue with this, and you be together like solid rock forever.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, will you like to talk something more? Like, I was seeing that this book has been listed as #1 Amazon bestseller in the 3 categories. So, which are those 3 categories?
It was parenting and family,
Social work was
social
one.
work, and I think it was social justice was another one.
Okay, great. And there were few projects of yours which were listed. So, would you like to tell about these projects of yours one by one? There are several, I saw there are several projects.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot going on at all times, really. I mean, we have our book, Redefining Normal, where the full title is Redefining Normal: How to Foster Kids, Beat the Odds, and Discovered Healing, Happiness, and Love. And with that, since November when we launched, we sold over 6,000 copies. We are
Wow.
self-published and we won 7 book awards. Then we have the Rose from Concrete podcast, where you can see it over my shoulder, where it's primarily Justin, talking about all the things and the topics that we just mentioned. And we have an audiobook coming out, workbooks coming out, and several other things in the pipeline that we are working on right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also developed an internship program. It's a pretty rigorous program where now I think we're on our 4th cohort and we've had over 20 students. So we're
Wow.
trying to help students who don't necessarily have a lot of experience gain that experience so that they can feel more confident moving forward into that next position.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you, make sure that your work outreaches the right kind of people so that more and more students or interns or youngsters can take help?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is building our ideal avatar, or building who is it that we primarily want to focus on. And say our primary target market may be foster youth, but I don't want to target them in the way that they would have to pay for the services. So we have to now go after the individuals who would be willing and open to facilitate or to pay for the services that we offer. So we then go to the support community, and so we make sure that we're making every relationship mutually beneficial, and that we're reaching out and building collaborations, because that's really what we feel strongly about, is collaborations, not necessarily one-sided of what can we get from this, but what can we do to serve you and help all around.
Definitely, definitely. Collaborations are a way to go ahead because I can understand that funding would be an issue for two foster kids coming up with such wonderful programs.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I would ask you how challenging it is to start new projects and new companies.
Well, I mean, it could take a lot. Definitely, it takes a lot doing this on our own. But one of the biggest things, one of the best things about this process is just being able to learn so much that you never thought you'd be able to learn before. Oh, one second.
God bless.
All right, there we go.
Sorry.
But one of the things we've been able to do is just be able to learn so much from this process that, a lot of times either in school or in the educational setting, you don't really learn this type of stuff. Even if you have some type of business degree or entrepreneurship degree, you don't really learn this hands-on stuff that we learn as you are operating the business, as you're doing the research on your target markets, as you're interacting with people, having negotiations, conversations, you're building products and services, you're in the field doing the work. There's a lot of things that you don't learn, and it's been an amazing blessing that we've been able to actually learn these things, and that we've been able to be in the field, make the collaborations and partnerships and make it happen. um, Even though that is one of the best things, it's also one of the toughest things, because you don't know at what level do you need to get someone else involved. Do you need to, okay, I can't do this much, I need to rely on someone else, because as an entrepreneur, you think you can do everything a lot of times. And when you're self-taught, we think we can rely on ourselves for everything, but we need to better understand how we can get other people involved. And that's why we're looking for team members now, and we're looking for those important roles to feel. Like we need understand, like we need lawyers now, we need um certain people who are around us who can support us in certain ways, and other people who see our vision. So just along with the ups and the happiness and the good side of business or entrepreneurship comes the real life things that you need to deal with businesses beyond myself and Alexis. And we need to develop an entire team of people who can be on board and have our vision, and getting those legal things together and contracts and paperwork and all that good stuff.
You are on the right path, because yesterday only I was talking on different leadership models of being an entrepreneur, and the model that you are talking of is transformational leadership, where you delegate part of duties to one of the team members, and each team member becomes responsible for that. For example, you are talking about you need lawyers, so you may be needing one team member who looks after the legal work, so that you can focus on the core idea, and being you keep developing that core business, the central part of your project. So that
Absolutely. It's
is the
focusing
right
on,
path.
I was just going to say, it's focusing on what it is that we're good at and delegating what it is that we're not necessarily the best at, so that we can make
Correct.
sure that focus on that core function you were mentioning.
Yeah, so being entrepreneur, you are like a controlling everything from the top. Concept is there, but you are
Mhm.
giving those strings to somebody else to
Mhm.
fulfill that particular role.
Mhm.
Very nice. Yeah, that's the latest leadership model, which startups are adopting nowadays.
Mhm.
Some other obstacles which you would like to mention as being entrepreneurs of a startup?
Yeah, I would say also just basic business practices like contracts. We're in a bit of a interesting situation with contracts right now, because we were doing verbal agreements where we didn't necessarily have contractual written agreements. So that's why we're needing to bring in lawyers into this, into different situations. So it's live and learn, but I'd rather be at this stage of our company and live and learn versus maybe a couple years from now where we're dealing with potentially millions. So,
Mhm.
so I guess it's a live and learn type of situation, but really, dealing with basic business concepts like contracts and making sure that even if it's family or friends of family, that you are still getting things in writing.
And what is the most pleasing experience out of these works that you would like to share with the audience?
Yeah, definitely my favorite part of this whole entire process has been creating an internship program. Just because we get to watch other people grow and learn in the different positions that we create,
Mhm.
and how that is supporting them in their next position, and making sure that they're all able to articulate what it is that they're learning and what it is that they can take forward, and how can they put it on their resume, and different things like that. So that has definitely been my favorite piece of this whole thing, and just make sure that, you know, they're all prepared in the best way
Mhm.
possible and that we're supporting them in that.
Mhm. Yeah, I have so many different favorite parts. One being the internship that Alexis mentioned, and being able to hear from different minds, and we all put our brains and ideas together and create. One of my favorite parts of just the business altogether is just just the process of creating. You know, creating different books, having different books ideas, going through that writing process, at least through the brainstorming. When you get to the business side, where you have to do a lot of the promo and read outreach and get people on board, that could be difficult and a bit hard. But just the raw creation of the ideas when it comes to the books and the workbooks and future books that we have down the line, when you're brainstorming those ideas and you're just sitting with it and it's in its rawest form, I think that is just super exciting for me. And seeing creating nothing from something is just amazing to me.
Mm-hmm.
And anything else that you would like to share with the audience today, which I have not covered in my questions?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course. I mean, with redefining normal, even though we talk about people who experience trauma, people who may have gone through the system, this is a conversation that we all need to have. And like I said before, redefining normal is a conversation. Whether you're growing up in a two-parent household with biological parents, you may have an area of your life, of your culture, of your community that needs some redefining, needs some fine-tuning. So we want to continue this conversation on multiple different platforms and avenues. Like we said, with the Redefining Normal company, you can check out our website and you can listen to the podcast, Rose from Concrete, to hear more in depth of these topics and conversations. We want to continue the conversation in multiple different ways, even with the merchandise on our website. We want this word to get out, this idea to get out, this movement to get out to people, to redefine their normal, to understand what it means and understand that everybody has a normal to redefine, like I said, in one area or another. And we
Mm-hmm.
just super thankful for the love and support of everyone who purchased the book, who supported our story. But it's more important that you work on your story and change your story and go through your process of redefining.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we're incredibly blessed to be able to do this full time. So if anybody that's listening is interested in our book or our story, you can find out more at read-definingnormal.com. And we'll also do speaking engagements full time as well. So
Mm-hmm.
feel free to reach out to us and we can answer any questions or try to figure out any collaborations.
And don't forget about our social media as well. Facebook is Redefining Normal Movement. We're on Instagram and TikTok too. We feel so old. We got to catch up to the youngins on TikTok, but that is Defining Normal and on Instagram and TikTok. So
Mm-hmm.
come and laugh with us, learn and engage with us on both of those platforms.
So I would end this conversation with a gift from our sides to you. Please send me cover book of your book, Redefining Normal, along with the buy link, which we would post on our website on its sidebar so that people can buy it for 4 days.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Of course, that
Thank
means a
you.
lot.